Welcome to another episode of Spirits and Monsters of Old Seattle. When we left our investigators, they were having a bit of a day. Unfortunately, after they had recovered in the morning, they failed to notice Michelle, one of the mysterious witches, sneaking away. And well, she left the hotel and split early.
Oh, God.
Too soon? Too soon? That might have been too soon. A victim of the Glosson. She was attempting to make her way to the church, perhaps for some nefarious purpose, when the Glosson attacked, splitting her in twain and eating her entrails for magical power. Our investigators chased after her, but were too late. The tracks of the Glosson appeared to lead away into the hills to the north of town. Thankfully, they were able to get some brief assistance dealing with the carnage in the form of Chaplain Alexander Kravitz, a somewhat kindly local clergyman who has a soft spot for animals and was willing to lend a hand moving Michelle's body into the mausoleum in the church's graveyard. Alexander confided in the investigators about what had happened and about his possession of the second sight. His ability to see, at least occasionally, a strange creature that appeared to be a giant boar somewhere on the edge of town near the graveyard. Well, that wasn't all we learned. Our investigators also discovered they might have a problem. The local lighthouse keeper, Magnus London, was one of the loudest and most vocal critics of the hotel in town, and last summer had previously tried to set it on fire. This was when Julian had the spark of inspiration and realized Magnus London, an old lighthouse keeper, carrying a wooden staff, and made the connection that staff was in fact Lindenwood. Armed with this knowledge, the group quickly split up, with our elderly gardener and groundskeeper, Tobias, and our grumpy doctor heading over to the hotel to let the Coven of Witches know what befell one of their own. You learned the group's name was the Sisters of Satan, so they're probably fine. Julian, meanwhile, went to go stock up on supplies, including rifles, binoculars, and, according to my notes, a crowbar. All totally normal, reasonable hardware store purchases.
Yeah.
However, whilst making this transaction, Julian saw something strange pass before his eyes. It almost appeared like the shopkeeper had pig-like features that were suddenly developing, gleaming red eyes and tusks. However, this is not Julian's first supernatural rodeo. He has experienced the power of magic being used against him before, and through sheer force of will, not only overcame it, but turned some of it back on its creator, able to see Magnus London clearly for the witch he is. What's more, Julian remembered this isn't the first time these two have encountered one another.
Oh, it's going to be an interesting day for Julian today.
Oh, dear.
Phoenix, for Julian, everything feels very quiet and distant. He could just barely hear the clink of coins hitting the ground, and the voice of the shopkeeper asking him if he's okay. But he feels like he just got punched in the gut as he's making the realization about who Magnus is.
I turn to the shopkeeper. I'm fine, thank you. I'll be going now, and I'm just gonna grab up the purchases and kind of walk out of the shop, close the door behind me, take a few steps away, and just take a few deep breaths. This has not gone in a way that I was expecting my day to be going. And I am just now this seething ball of emotions, trying to figure out what to do next. Moment goes by, and I look down and realize I've got my fists just absolutely white-knuckle clenched. And I am gonna start making my way to the lighthouse. I'm gonna grab the rifle under one arm, stow the other equipment, and start beelining my way to the lighthouse. There are old debts that need repaying.
Excellent. Now, Julian is kind of tromping his way out of town. The snow is falling down around him. There's a little bit of sleet and freezing rain in that as well. You get probably a couple 100 feet out of town when you start to see the size of the drifts and the hills that eventually lead to that lighthouse. But you can see it. There's that glowing beam spotlighting out onto the sea.
As I'm making my way there, the drifts and the snow, it's really just kind of in the background and the periphery, and my eyes are just locked onto the lighthouse as I continue to approach. I am muttering under my breath. I am cursing at myself and just thinking back on a very good friend who I don't have anymore. And it's probably when I do get a few 100 feet out of town that I start thinking through everything that happened and just seeing the smile and the laughter and the kind of cold, it's not rage at this point, it's just a determination, but it just kind of leaves. And I hang my head. I can't go through this again. I can't do this. I can't do this alone. Fuck.
You see your breath just frosting in the air in front of you as you're saying that.
I hold back just a primal scream that I really want to let out, but know that this is probably not the best place to be doing that. And just with quite a few more deep breaths, I'm going to turn back and start making my way back to the hotel to have a difficult conversation with some people.
Fair enough. Tobias and Dr. Jensen, you're getting a few items ready. You're kind of organizing things. Tobias, you've been working with Lisa to get everything ready at the hotel to make sure that things are going to be in an okay spot for whatever comes next.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other preparations you can think of that you would make?
I think Tobias would probably get a shot of fortifying bottom shelf liquor ready for everyone, just to warm them up in this chilly night.
It's all expenses paid, man. Get the good stuff.
The good stuff is too good for Tobias.
Phoenix, some people are just monarch men.
Oh, God.
The good stuff is like poison. He's also, talking to the Vatir, just like, making sure that they're prepped, they know what's going on, and, can't ask too much of them. They are spirits of their own ilk. But he's gotten a kind of rapport.
He's got a good rapport with them.
Yeah. And so making sure that they are prepped no matter what happens, and he's just very focused on making sure that Miss Catherine's hotel is okay, because she's been such a friend to him in this time of this very strange part of his life. And he would hate for her to come back to whatever would be left after, if the Glosson were allowed to run amok here. She's worked so hard to make this place something special. It really has become his new home. And so he's just he's battening down the metaphorical hatches.
And possibly some literal hatches as well, as there is quite a storm that has brewed up. Dr. Jensen, any preparatory work that you were doing?
I think Lucius would be his first priority would make sure that he has all the equipment he needs and that it's ready to go for when Julian returns. Because if they're going to go out and do this, he wants to be ready. He wants to get ready to go. He would probably join Tobias in a drink or two, but
hard to believe.
Obviously, Lucius will reach up for the nicer shelf, remembering in the back of his mind Julian saying all expenses paid. But besides that, he would basically just be either trying to stay out of the way if Tobias and Lisa and folks are rushing around. He would try to help out if they needed to actually batten down things, so he would take those parts. But otherwise, he'd also be just kind of keeping a lookout, nervous that just Julian is out by himself, and even thinking back to the neck, where we, if we went out, we had at least had the father, and we went out in pairs. And Lucian is not much of a fan of having one of his friends out there on their own with no one else to kind of back them up. So he'll just be
kind of keeping a weather eye on the door.
Yeah, just he's looking outside, and he's looking for Julian, but he's also looking to see if there's any other signs of something else that might be coming apart in the storm. He's just he knows there's something big coming, and they're gonna have to do a lot in probably not fair weather. So he's just trying to brace himself, I guess, for that. The proverbial calm before the storm.
Excellent. And as he's kind of doing so, the door of the hotel is thrown open, and Julian comes in. His shoulders and the front of his coat are covered in clinging snow and some ice. His now short-cut hair is just covered in cold snow, since I believe you had chopped out all the gray that had been in there.
Can't go around looking skunky.
Well, you got quite a white top at the moment.
And yet, I somehow pull it off.
That's true, as always.
Walking in to the hotel, so I take it I'm seeing Dr. Jensen there. Tobias is kind of running around as doing different things. And as I come through the door, kind of shake the snow off of my shoulders, kind of look back and forth between the two of you, and eventually, with yet another deep breath, approach towards Dr. Jensen. Lucius, can I talk to you outside for a moment?
Yes, of course, Julian. He'll kind of just motion after him.
And Tobias, sorry, we'll be just one moment. Be right back. We'll be right outside.
All right. Be careful. Don't go far.
I nod towards you. But upon exiting, I will kind of take us maybe just like around the side of the building. Not really going far, but just so that we're not like right out in front of it. I'll look over to Dr. Jensen, and Julian looks genuinely shaken as he looks up to you. Doctor, do you remember back when we were dealing with the mayor?
No, yes, of course.
We had to make our way down to our house. I had a moment to speak with a woman there. I ended up using quite a lot of the resources I had at the time to send her and her children out of Seattle and down to San Francisco.
Okay. That's very generous of you, Julian. But
it wasn't generosity.
What do you mean?
She found herself in the position she was in because her husband, Cotton, never came home. And there's a reason he never did. Lucius, when I was at the store, I don't know what you can call it, the witch, Magnus. He tried to communicate with me again, but I caught it this time. And I've seen him before. I've dealt with him before. He's dealt with me before.
Where? When?
Dr. Jensen, this is something I've not told anyone. And what I'm about to tell you could land me in prison. But you need to know this, because if we're going to confront this man, you need to know what you're up against. And I need you to be ready to deal with me if things go badly.
What do you mean badly?
Do you remember how you first got the site?
Yes. I had a farmer come to me saying that I believe his child was afflicted with something and needed to be examined. I remember ridiculous claims and, frankly, things that just didn't make any sense whatsoever. And before I really could get a sense of what was going on, you and Sophie were there.
When I came into my site, I was covered in blood.
Oh.
My best friend and I look down, and as I always am, it's covered in snow. It's maybe a little worse for the wear, but there is that silk red rose still pinned to kind of my inner vest. My best friend Rose, she took care of me. She looked out for me when I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Magnus, you've seen what he's able to do. You know with the Glosson he's able to take control. I remember every single action he forced me to take. Every moment, every scream. He made me kill my best friend. When I came to, there was a lot of noise, as you might expect. Cotton Dodson was there. He was with Rose that night. Real asshole. We all knew he was trouble. Gotten himself into a lot of trouble with the sporting house previously. With all the commotion, Madame Lou came up, checked on us. I in the middle of everything that was happening, came back to myself. I wrestled him to the ground and blamed the whole thing on him. And the reason he's not coming home is because she shot him point blank. Everyone said I was a hero. This is what we're going against. And I don't know if he can do that to you. I don't know if he can do it to me. But Lucius, you have to promise me. And I am like putting the butt of my pistol into your hand. If anything, shoot me in the fucking head. If he takes me over again, I am not going through that. Shoot me in the fucking head.
Lucius will look down the pistol, and I think a little quicker than even he thought he'd do, he will kind of quickly snap up and not grab the pistol, but grab basically behind your thumb at the wrist and hold your hand there. Put his other hand and clasp you on the shoulder. You have my word, but we're not going to let it come to this. And he'll kind of just pull the pistol out of your hand and kind of sloppily just kind of put it away in his jacket. He'll figure out what he's going to do with that later. But Julian, I know it takes a lot to say and face things in your past, especially hard, terrible things. And I can understand some of that probably better than I'd like to know, but I understand. And I need you to understand that if he was in control, it is not on you. And I understand what might have happened after with Dobson and what went down to that. Lucius just shakes his head. Doesn't matter. It's not here. And we all move forward from our past. Can't change it. And he actually tightens his grip on your shoulder and stares you directly in the eye. Your past does not define you. It may be where you were, but it's not where you are now. You understand?
I'm looking back at you, trying to maintain eye contact, and you're getting like flitting glances, and my vision just goes like just down, kind of staring into your chest, having a hard time kind of holding that eye contact. It was my hands, it was my voice. He used it all.
Then let's go shoot him in the fucking head.
Damn right. Damn right.
Come on, let's get inside and get you some liquor.
And I am... Tears are at this point probably streaming down my face. This is the least attractive you've ever seen Julian, as he is trying to hold the snot back out of dripping down his face here.
I was going to say, he just jumped immediately to ugly crying.
Didn't know that I was capable of ugly crying, but here we are.
It's always been a much more reserved, refined weeping.
Usually it's a single perfect tear rolling down the cheek.
Mm-hmm. It's weird. Like a little teeny tiny spotlight always comes down and casts this perfect shine off of it every time.
All right, so the three of you gather together. Phoenix, what type of alcohol is Julian going to get from the bar?
What type of alcohol is he getting from the bar? Probably some sort of a very citrusy gin, rather than what I would go for, but probably some sort of a very citrusy, bright gin.
99 bananas.
Take from there. No. Gross.
So you pour out 3 strong shots of a citrusy gin.
Tobias looks at it askance.
And set them just out on the bar in front of each of you.
Tobias will grab it, hold his nose and toss it back.
Lucius will pick it up and go, "What is this, water?" And then drink it.
I just look between the two of you as I'm holding, like, I've got the shot glass up and haven't quite downed it just yet. And then just watch as what is going on here with Tobias. And then, is this water? And then I just shrug and just slam the shot down.
Lucius goes and looks for a nice single malt scotch in the bar.
Had I realized I was sharing this, I would have gotten you a scotch. Here, Jensen, try this.
It's Tanqueray.
It's classy.
All right. So are the three of you heading out?
Yeah.
Yes, we are heading out into the cold and wintry weather.
Excellent. First off, Zach, could I get a learning test from you?
Absolutely.
That's a strong suit of Tobias, right? Actually, you know what? Don't give me a learning test.
Oh.
Give me a logic test.
Oh, straight up and down logic.
Straight up and down logic.
All right. With my -1, it's going to be a whole 2 die. Hey, that's a success.
Hey.
That's a success.
All right. So what'd you wind up getting?
1 success.
On how many dice?
2.
All right. So just before the group heads out, Tobias is seeing everybody kind of prepare and get things ready. And he remembers something. He's left an item of importance in his cottage.
Tobias will quickly excuse himself and just mumble, I'll be right back. Just a moment. And quickly trod through the snow toward his cottage and head to his bedside table and pull out the drawer and grab his journal and flip through to find today's date.
This was a gift to him from Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
As Tobias has a habit of forgetting days.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to do when you've been living on your own for a long time, and it doesn't necessarily matter whether it's a Sunday or a Friday or a Saturday.
Time's a flat circle.
Mm-hmm. However, speaking of, there is something that's been drawn in his journal over today's date. There is just a little circle that's drawn on there.
Right about what time is it right now?
It is early afternoon. Probably about like 2 o'clock.
Pacific Northwest, so the sun's going to set around 5. Does Tobias think he's going to have enough time to head up to the lighthouse?
It would be cutting it close at the best of chances.
How successful has he been in the past with, dealing with this?
As far as he knows, completely.
All right. Okay. He definitely doesn't want to leave his new friends in a lurch, and things are getting dire. If this confrontation is put off any longer, things could get very bad for the hotel and possibly the people of Crescent Bay. And on top of that, he knows in his gut that all of this is tied to Miss Catherine's disappearance, and he's got to get to the bottom of that. And so the longer that this goes on, the more danger she is in, the more danger the hotel is in. So this is not a good idea. This is very reckless of him, but he kind of feels like his back is up against a wall. And so he's going to stare down at that journal, down at that drawing for a good couple beats, and then sharply snap it shut, put it back in the bedside drawer, and trudge back out into the snow and back to his new comrades and just kind of nod his head sharply and said, "Oh, ready. Are we doing this?"
Yeah. Are we ready? I guess.
Yeah.
We should head out then.
And so the three of you head out. Since we're on a hot streak with rolls, I've got another one for you.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Can I get a force test from each of you?
Ooh.
Would the map book that I have any bearing on this? It says that it's used for investigation and learning. So would that have any impact on this?
Not for this one. This one is to deal with the weather.
Okay.
Dice for force, and that's going to be 1 success.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 success on 7.
Excellent.
And I have 1 success and 9 dice.
All right.
We're some forceful motherfuckers.
That's right.
Party force majeure is, in fact, completely fine with this weather. The three of you are doing your best to follow, like, the little paths in between these hills, avoiding anywhere where the ice is too slick or where things can suddenly tumble down a ridgeline. You are striding through this wintry weather, and each have your coats bundled up tightly, guns over shoulders and strapped to you. And I will not make anyone roll a vigilance test for this. In the distance, on the wind, you hear a terrifying sound.
I wanted the full 3-minute version of that.
Well, I gave my distraction nuts to the chaplain. So, hopefully you guys are ready with that.
yeah. Got it. Let's see. How many distraction?
I think we each have 1 charge.
Yes.
You each had 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right.
And you know what it's time for? A battle map.
Ooh!
One person excited about battle maps.
I was hoping for the peninsula map again.
You don't get the peninsula map again. None of you are trustworthy with it.
Oh, but the peninsula is so good.
Trustworthy? I'm absolutely trustworthy. I am not mature enough for that map.
You did it to yourself, Brian.
Well, technically, Vossen did it.
You know what? We'll talk about this in and after the episode section.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the three of you are kind of trudging through these hillsides. You're making your way in between these kind of ridges of ice. There are some people who have been out here, though. There are trails that have been worn. So you're able to see occasional things like some kids must have been out here at some point because someone made a snowman. However, ahead of you, across a large icy field, you see it. The Glosson. An enormous pig, easily 6.5 feet at the shoulder. Its skin an eerie greenish that kind of blends to white. Covering its back are razor-sharp bristles, and its eyes are like tiny pinpricks of fire. It stands before you, intent, focused, guarding the path like a watchdog. Can I get a fear test from everybody?
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no!
On 7 dice, no successes.
I have 3 successes on 12 dice.
Excellent.
Can I borrow a cup of success?
And Zach, how did Tobias do?
That's 0 successes on 4 dice.
Excellent.
Feeling really good about bringing that item of power along with me.
Mm-hmm. Zach and Bill, would you like to push this roll?
I will push my roll.
I think some of my drugs might help me with this fear. Let me hold on. Give me one moment to find out what all my drugs do.
I was about to say, what drugs do you have?
Laudanum, cocoa wine, and ether.
Ooh, you're so prepared.
I try. I'm just drugged to the teeth, really.
Laudanum would help you.
Laudanum?
Or if you have ether, I guess you resist fear.
I believe ether can be used to simply resist the fear itself.
All right. Let's fucking go.
Is Tobias just like chugging ether, staring at this creature?
I mean, it's not how you take ether, please.
I don't think you chug. I think you
Breathe it in. Yeah.
Well, hey, is he pouring it into a rag and huffing the shit out of it?
Yes, please. Mom,
Okay.
It's not.
Actually, Zach, at this time, people would drink ether occasionally, I believe, which could cause their breath to be flammable.
Ooh. Everyone got a light. Spit hot fire. Okay, yeah. Then he'll take a swig. He'll take a swig.
Okay.
profuse salivization, epigastric burning, and rather violent eructations.
Oh my.
Julian would like to know more.
God damn it.
I resisted fear, but not temptation. What's going on?
If resistance to fear lasts more than 6 hours, please contact your doctor right away.
Did you just drink some ether, or is that a lindenwood staff in your pocket?
Oh my.
We're a serious role-playing game podcast.
We sure are.
Zach, feel free to roll 2 more dice.
Excellent. Let's fucking go. Hey, that's a success.
All right. 1 success. However, 1 success is not enough.
Oh God. Oh no. That almost hopped up on ether.
I ask again, Bill and Zach, would you like to push this roll?
Do I get to keep my ether bonus on this?
Yes. Yep. So you'll add a +1 to your fear test, Zach, because you'd keep the 1 success from the ether.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna push this roll.
And Bill?
Yes, I would like to push.
All right, feel free to roll it.
Oh, that's too many.
Yeah, I think you might have goofed that.
But with the first 5, he still has 2 successes.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll again, Brian?
Nah, you're good, Zach. I'll let you take, just as was said, the first 5 on there.
Thank you.
So on my reroll, I had 1 success on 7 dice.
All right, so
Okay, I'm going back to physical dice.
Well, there's a reason that Aaron always says that. All right, Zach. Good news.
Oh,
Tobias feels that sense of fear hitting him. This sense of terror at this giant creature. But then he just takes a huff of this ether.
yeah,
And he feels so much better.
he sure does.
He's got this. This isn't the scariest thing he's ever dealt with. Dr. Jensen.
Poop.
The way this pig is staring into your eyes, there's a maliciousness here. And this sense of terrifying quaking fear runs from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. And your mind can't help but ask the question, what would it feel like if this creature split me apart? You are terrified. A character who is terrified has 4 options they can do. You can flee, you can freeze, you can faint, or you could fight. Which of those is Dr. Jensen going to choose?
I think, given the circumstances of that we just came across it, it'd probably be thematic that I just kind of freeze in place.
Okay. Now, I do have some good news for you. We are using a house rule that I've created called Cinematic Terror, where instead of being affected by the terrified condition for D6 rounds, it's only a D3.
Awesome.
Yay.
So you won't be out of the fight for potentially 6 full rounds. But you're still going to be out of it for a little bit. All right, I am going to deal out some initiative cards. You are currently in a snowy hillside. Near to where you are on a snow-packed path is a big snowdrift. It would probably be easy to be able to take cover behind that. There is also, as I mentioned, a snowman that was built out here. In the event that you were in the same zone as the snowman, I would let you use your fast action to change the target of an attack to that snowman. Although after that, it's definitely getting destroyed.
Yeah.
There's a large icy field that the Glosson is standing in, and anyone trying to move through there is going to have a difficult time. If you move into, out of, or through that zone, you need to make an agility test or you're going to stop moving and immediately fall prone. Finally, there's a frozen hillside. It's going to take a force test as a fast action to move into that zone. However, if you make attacks against something in an adjacent zone, you'll get a +2 bonus. So having the high ground, being able to kind of strike down at your foes. And if all of you were able to make it up that hill, there is a path that you could follow to try and lose this creature. No guarantee it'll work, but you could at least try and get escape. Of course, with Bill frozen in fear, that may not work so well. All right, so I'm going to deal out our initiative. All right. And does anyone want to swap initiative cards? Currently, Tobias is going to act first amongst the players, then Julian, and then Dr. Jensen.
I feel comfortable going first, unless someone else has a strong desire.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Oh, sorry, one last item. Bill, you also take a mental condition.
In addition to the one I got from pushing?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh no.
You get 1 mental condition per fear value of the creature. But if you have a fear of 2, like the Glosson, getting 1 success reduces that value by 1.
Well, I am almost broken.
That's what I aim for.
Don't worry, when it hits you, you'll take physical conditions. This will be fine.
Don't let it hit you. All right. Zach, Tobias is up first.
Okay. Tobias is he's gonna pull out his revolver, and using his marks mentality, he's going to try and take a pot shot at the Glosson. And here we go. Yay.
Whoa!
Good at shooting, Tex.
Apparently.
That's 3 successes on 10 die.
That ether focused you the fuck up.
Yeah, dude. Most people get a little loopy on ether. Not Tobias. He gets razor sharp.
Apparently. Well, the Glosson will attempt to use one of its fast actions to dodge that.
Also, just to ask if you've taken into account that the revolver has a damage of 2 with the 3 successes, does that mean it does, does it do 6?
If it hits, it will add 2 additional damage to whatever is rolled. However, as we'll talk about in just a second, assuming the Glosson doesn't get a ton of successes and reduce that, it will give Zach a couple options that he'll be able to select from.
Nice.
But the Glosson is going to try and dodge. Oh, so on 9 dice, the Glosson did get 1 success. So, Zach, you have 2 total successes.
I'll take it.
Now, if I can direct your attention briefly to the Vossen core book.
Ooh!
On page 45. When you roll more successes than you needed, you can do any of the options listed under those bullet points, including increasing your damage, outmaneuvering your enemy so that you exchange initiative cards with them, stressing your enemy to cause mental damage, pushing an enemy into a different zone, or forcing them to drop a weapon or item.
I'm assuming the pig does not have any weapons on its person, correct?
No, only the weapons it's made of.
Exactly. I don't think it can drop its being. If I push it into the hillside, can I make it do that check?
Yeah, you could effectively force it to do so. Even pushing it within its zone is going to force it to make a test, otherwise it might fall down.
Yes, let's do that. I'm gonna force the piggins to move within its zone, see if I can get them to flop down.
Great. He makes a body control test. Actually, first, he'll take some damage.
Oh yeah, he will.
So, Jan Piggins will, in fact, take 3.
Ooh.
This has rendered the pig vengeful but tactical.
Oh god. I don't like that.
You shoot this pig several times and send it careening backwards. However, as its hooves crash into the ice, they send sparks flying up.
Okay.
And it manages to hold itself steady, because it got 3 successes on 9 dice.
Some good, strong base the pig has. Difficult for it to fall over.
All right, and the pig, the Glosson, is going to attempt to get a running start and come crashing into the snow-packed path. Let's see if it can first successfully move out of its zone. It sure can.
No, this pig is so much better than we are.
Just use up those 6s now, man. Just use them all up now. That's how dice work.
Mm-hmm.
With a crash and a thunderous squeal, the pig comes running straight for Tobias.
Oh.
You have not used your fast action this turn. Would you like to try and dodge?
Sure would. So 1 success on 7 die.
I have good news. The pig got 0 on 9 dice.
Yes.
So, we actually need to go take a look at page 44 of the Vossen rulebook.
Ooh.
Because if you get more successes than your enemy on your agility test, you have extra things that you can do.
Fabulous. I want to perform an action while evading the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to toss out my distraction apples, my drapples.
Very well. Where are you throwing them apples?
You guys are gonna continue trying to shoot this thing, right? No one wants to go up and punch him yet. No one's gonna punch the pig.
So, do you want? Should I answer that, or it's not my turn? So, how should I play that, Brian?
what I would say, Zach, is where do you want to throw an apple? Dr. Jensen is just like frozen staring at you.
Oh, true. Snowdrift doesn't do anything. He's going to throw the apple back out in the icy field, see if he can get this pig to fall over again.
So you just wing this apple back in the icy field, and you see the Glosson's head whip as all the nuts go crashing down across the ice.
How do you like them apples? I said it, guys. I said it. I did it.
You did it. Feel free to remove the distraction apples from your inventory. Phoenix, what is Julian doing?
So I am going to... I want to actually look around and see if I can see who's controlling the pig.
You don't see anyone nearby.
So I will call out to the rest of the group. Damn it! This is a person. They're cursed right now. This isn't their choice. They're being controlled by Magnus. Fuck. I will move. So the pig is in our zone. Can I still move away from it?
Yep.
Okay. Can I bring Dr. Jensen with me using like an action or something?
If you use your slow action, I'll let you pull Dr. J with you.
All right, I will pull Dr. Jensen along with me, and we're going to go to the snowman, please.
I feel like you're just like pushing and I'm just sliding along.
Yep.
The ice is working in our favor here.
All right, and the Glosson gets a second turn.
Boo!
But I do have some good news. It is going to go racing into the icy field. Because it saw that apple that got thrown, and it needs that.
I know that feel, bro. Yes!
Nice.
And this pig gallops towards that apple. And despite those sparks that were coming off its feet earlier, maybe that bullet hit did a little bit more than you were initially expecting. Because it slides out from under the creature. And there is a crash as it hits the ice. And its snout is flailing all around, trying to gobble up nuts and apples from the ground.
Fabulous.
All right. That is our first full round of initiative. Now, Phoenix, how long have we been playing this game?
I don't know, a couple weeks.
A bold statement. I had to double check something because of how rarely we do combats.
Do we draw new initiative cards?
You don't.
Okay.
That is the benefit of using that swap initiative action.
Right.
You could say, oh, the pig is going super early. I want to go super early instead.
Oh.
We definitely screwed that up on an earlier occasion.
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. And everyone has their fast actions again. Tobias, what are you going to do?
Tobias heard Julian. He knows that this is probably some just poor innocent schmo. So not going to go full on trying to murk them.
Take it out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Tobias is going to head into the next zone. And then to flee, I have to get to this exit sign.
You got to make it all the way across that map. Yep.
Yeah. So that was my fast action to move to the next zone.
If you want to, you could use your slow action to move into the first zone and your fast action to try and move into that second.
You know what? Yeah, I'm going to use slow action to move into this first zone, and then I'm just going to hold on to my fast action because don't
use it
know
for dodging if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. Don't know what Piggin's going to do, so.
Fair enough. All right, and that is Tobias. Speaking of piggins,
Hey,
the Glosson gobbles up that apple. It kind of struggles up to its feet, but it is just going like to town, wolfing down those nuts, grabbing that apple. The creature is completely distracted by that for the moment. Julian.
Not exciting, but same thing as last time. I'm going to go ahead and shove Dr. Jensen into the frozen hillside and follow him up.
Now, that one's going to be a little bit tougher for you.
Okay.
Because again, this is not just trying to like push a catatonic person. This is trying to push a catatonic person uphill.
Right. Okay. So if that is not an option, then what am I gonna do?
can I give Julian a hand with Lucius?
I would say if you both of you wanted to use your fast actions to enter that zone, you could carry Dr. Jensen between you.
Yeah.
Okay. That works for me.
Great. If either of you fail the force test, though, Dr. Jensen and that character will be stuck in the current zone.
Love it.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, roll them.
Nice.
Ooh. That is 2 successes on 8 dice for Tobias.
And 1 success on 7 for Julian.
Okay, that is enough. The 3 of you managed to get into the frozen hillside.
I'm so glad I'm helping this.
Oh, yeah. They'd be lost without you, Dr. J.
You're just happy to be here.
The Glosson turns. All of those nuts and apples having been devoured, and those gleaming red eyes focus on you all again. It comes running at you, trying to build up speed. And unfortunately for the Glosson and the layout of this map, it's got to make 2 checks to be able to get to you.
Yes! Yes!
So first, it has to make a body control test to be able to get across the icy field, and it gets 3 successes on 9 dice.
Man, you are just killing it on that.
Oh, no.
As it's building up this speed and momentum, it comes charging up the hill to try and get to you. It needs a might test.
Yes!
My poor pig! So the Glosson is running at top speed. You can see a bow wave of snow and ice is being knocked apart from this creature rushing at you. And Julian and Tobias just start kicking snow down the hill. Just like throwing anything that they can at this creature.
No, not Dr. Jensen.
And it's just barely enough as one like stalagmite of icicles gets thrown at its hoof, and it's just enough that it lands badly and goes tumbling back down this hill. Man, do I regret building a map that you could easily lock down this monster on? Listener, that's on me. Or is it? Because they never let me use battle maps, so I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know. I've been out of this fight the whole time. I think you're doing great, Brian.
Bill, listen, I don't want to say they had to carry you through this, but they did literally have to carry you through this.
Yeah.
Tobias is gonna drag Lucius along to the get the heck out of Dodge zone.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, Big and Piggin doesn't get over here. Please don't come over here, Pig.
I mean, I hope it does.
I know you do.
All right. The pig is attempting to cross the ice field. It got 1 success on its 9 dice.
Okay. Big money, no whammies.
Big money, no whammies. And again, because this creature is angry but tactical, it's going to spend its movement running to that zone with the snowman. and then kind of like wheels through the snow, looking up the hill at Julian, now in a better position where it can stop kind of losing its footing on the ice. Julian, what are you doing?
I look over to where my party has gathered. I look back to the Glosson. I'm sorry about the bullets. We'll free you from this. And then I turn and rush off to join the rest of the group.
All right. You rush to that trail that you're fairly certain it'll have a difficult time following. You notice Dr. Jensen suddenly kind of shakes awake. Bill, I got 3 turns when I rolled on my side.
My God.
So you just broke it. The 3 of you are racing through the snow. There is crashing. There is squealing. There is this awful sound of these razor-sharp barbs tearing through trees and bushes. But sure enough, the group of you are able to race and rush and manage to actually lose the Vossen.
I'm sorry I took the combat out of your combat, Brian.
Oh, don't worry, I got plenty more.
Ooh.
Oh.
I mean, I'm ready to shoot someone in the head, just not a peg.
Oh, I know. It takes you several hours of hiking through this cold, wintry weather, but you're able to see the lighthouse just in the distance, only a few hundred yards away. What are the 3 of you planning?
With the binoculars, which allow us to use vigilance at a distance, are any of you more vigilant than I?
Absolutely not, no.
Possibly, but I am also nearly broken at this point.
Okay. Can I just take a look through the binoculars and see if I can see something?
Make a vigilance test.
Well, it's not bad, but it's 0 successes on 6 dice.
Do you want to push that?
Kinda.
Up to you.
How much am I going to be talking to this guy? I feel like I'm going to be shooting. Do I really want to get a mental condition?
And it's a witch.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'll pass.
Well, wait a minute. If we fail, we can either have misread the situation, been detected, or appear hostile to people who are watching. So I'm more worried about the middle one there.
Oh.
I've got something specific in mind for this one.
Okay. That's not soothing at all.
I didn't offer to be soothing. So, Phoenix, you're going to choose to not push?
Yeah, I'm going to choose to not push. I have a question. I have an opinion on this, but I'll ask my GM's opinion here. As we start approaching, I do have an elegant disguise, which allows me to sneak using my manipulation. Could it just be like I have something that's all white? I mean, I don't know. Is it like, would I be able? I feel like this is definitely more of the blend with the crowd type of sneaking that it's referring to here.
That was the intention.
But I figured I would ask.
It's a little bit of a stretch, but I might be willing to give that to you.
Okay.
Before you do, the 3 of you kind of hunch down in a little bit of scrub bush. Julian gets out the binoculars and he's staring. But due to how heavy this storm is, he constantly has to keep, like, scrubbing snow off of them. You're able to see some little flickers of light from the windows that are down on the first floor, but you can't be sure if there's movement in there or not. Now, as far as using your elegant disguise as snow camouflage, what I will say is roll a d66 for me. If you wind up getting a 22 or lower, you've got an outfit that'll work.
That's a 2 and a 6.
You've got some things that are close. However, you left your wedding dress facsimile behind because why were you going to need that? It's a vacation.
I mean, that would be a perfect reason to bring it, but I accept the ruling of the GM. All right. I'll look to the two of you here. So here we are. Are we going into the lair? Or do we try to draw him out?
We don't know what we're walking into, but there are 3 of us. We got the numbers.
Until he turns. I mutter under my breath, until he turns one of us.
I'll kind of give Julian a glance and then, well, I mean, I don't know what we do to lure him out, and I don't want to be really outside dealing with him and potentially that pig if it's somehow able to get closer. We might just need to rush him or see,
All right.
I mean, we could go up to the door and just try to see if we can open it and go in and see if we can sneak in quietly if he's not. I mean,
Why don't, if you are okay with that idea, if you think you can sneak up there, I will unhook the rifle from my back. I'll stay a little bit behind it and try to cover.
okay.
Oh, I'll go up with you.
Are we trying? I guess before we go to up the knock, do you want me to knock to see if he comes to the door so you can ambush him, or do you want me to try and open the door and we just all go in?
I have to consider that. If we have an opportunity to shoot him before he knows what's going on, I will shoot him.
Do we think that he's expecting us now? I mean, he knows we're here, and I feel like he knows we're kind of messing with stuff.
I don't know what level of control he has over the Glosson. He could have specifically set it upon us, or he could have had it simply guarding the area.
Brian, well, hang on. I'll check our notes. So there's nothing in here that says that the person who controls the Night Sow can see through its eyes, right? Or is aware of whatever the Night's... He's not aware of whatever the Night Sow is aware of.
Not as far as you're aware.
So we might not know that we're here, and we know that whoever controls the staff can win. Lucius will kind of turn to Tobias. Do you want to just try and we go in the door and Julian follows in, ready to shoot whatever moves in front of us?
It sounds like a plan.
And
not necessarily a good plan, but I think it's what we have.
Lucius kind of obviously very wary wary looking after all the stuff going on with the Glosson. He'll look to Julian. You're ready to fire? You're a good shot, yes?
Yeah.
Fuck. He'll take a swig out of it.
You have seen Julian with... The rifle is new. You've seen him with the pistol.
Yeah.
He is a good shot.
But it's more than just I was not between Julian and the target when Julian took those shots.
100% fair.
And so Lucius will look at Tobias like, all right, let's give this a go. And
if he doesn't come to the door, I will join you up there.
I wasn't planning on knocking. I was just going to see if I can open the door and go in.
Oh, pardon. Okay.
So I will kind of, I'm not going to rush up to the door, but just kind of slowly but consistently move up to the door.
Mm-hmm.
Just check to see
Sorry, before you go, I just thought of one little thing. Brian, question for you.
Yes.
I have a fiddle of the neck.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the description of that, and it's talking about whenever making an inspiration test to impress a crowd, excuse me,
To lure a crowd, in fact.
to impress a crowd with music or gather a crowd, I get a +5 bonus.
Mm-hmm.
There's a small chance that if I play it, I cannot stop myself. Now, I remember what I saw the neck able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think I would be able to essentially...
To that same level of magic. No.
Yeah, okay.
But the fiddle of the neck might be able to get him to come out if he can hear it. It might also affect your friends.
Yep. Just put your fingers in your ears, guys. Earmuffs.
Earmuffs protocol activated.
my medical equipment, does it have gauze I can just stuff into my ears?
I mean, I do have some simple bandages. Could stuff those in, wrap it around my ears.
Now, this is, I know this is a double-bladed weapon here. Does Julian really want to use the fiddle of the neck?
It literally just occurred to me, and part of what I was asking there, and Brian, this totally makes sense, but it was like, can I do that? What I saw the neck do, as far as like just forcing somebody to just dance, not that powerful, but
if you distract him, you have two people that can subdue and or attack.
How likely do I think it is that with the materials that we have, do I think that they're going to be able to, like, they will be subjected to this, or what's my opinion on the matter?
It's very hard to say. You have not actually busted this thing out.
I've never played this thing.
Yeah. Like, you've tested it a little bit, like played a chord or two, but you have never committed to fully playing the fiddle before.
Phoenix as a chaos gremlin here, I kind of want to try it now. But what do you think, guys? I can try to lure him out, but you'll just need to do your best to cover your ears. This is dangerous magic I'm working with.
Julian's state of mind at the moment, I've, been calmed a bit by his karmas, but also, like, I would imagine a bit desperate.
I don't think you're wrong.
And, we got a big-ass pig on our tail, too, so time is of the essence.
Not to be the encouraging of the Chaos Gremlin Phoenix, but I don't know if I don't know if Magnus would be expecting the fiddle of the neck.
Yeah. All right. Do what you can to plug your ears, guys. We're doing this, and we're going to see what happens.
I love it. This is fantastic.
All right. Tobias is going to rip up his bandages.
Yep, starts ripping up gauze. Dr. Jensen's pulling out gauze from his medical bag and wadding it up. Julian stands up, kind of stretches his back a little bit, flexes his fingers, reaches into the violin case, opens up the second compartment in the violin case that he keeps the dangerous item. And he pulls out this beautiful fiddle. Now, Tobias is an old man. He's seen a lot of things over the course of his life. This fiddle is gorgeous. He's done some woodworking, and the angles of this thing are perfect. But as he's looking at it, he doesn't recognize that wood. He has no idea what this thing's made out of. He doesn't recognize those strings. Those don't look like anything he can quite identify. That bow, the strings on it are blue. Like the blue of a rushing river. This is an alien item, something he's never seen before. And Julian, with snow dancing all around him, rests that bow across the strings. And we'll find out what happens when he plays it next time.
Oh, no! No! You!
Yeah.
You know that ended well when you get booed as a DM. And with that, I will see you, dear listener, next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Spirits and Monsters of Old Seattle. Our theme song is Myths and Legends by Robert Bruckmeyer and is playing right now. Our episode music is from the incredible Andreas Lundstrom's RPG soundtracks, and you can hear more of his work on the Sweden Rolls podcast. Our editor is Hannah Cheney. If you've enjoyed the show, it would mean the world to all of us if you could share it with a friend, or an acquaintance, a stranger, even an enemy. We're not super picky. However, it is the single best way to help us get new listeners and continue to grow. If you've really enjoyed the show and you want to let the world know just how much, we are launching a storefront where you can buy some cool gear and a Patreon. You'll find the links in our show notes. We'll be looking forward to sharing more stories of the Vossen in the Pacific Northwest. But until then, remember the motto of the library. Fear gives way to knowledge. Knowledge gives way to wisdom. And wisdom gives way to the truth. Until next time.